With the next game coming out, eventually, in the Animal Crossing series, I can't help but wonder what the devs are going to do with some of the more controversial mechanics of New Horizons. The one I want to break down now, broken tools. Get it? Break down. Okay. If you're watching this video, I assume you've played New Horizons and are somewhat familiar with how tool durability works. But just to quickly touch on it, just in case maybe, I don't know, you found this video and you haven't played New Horizons, there are 3 different levels of tools: flimsy, standard, and gold. Flimsy are the weakest, gold are the strongest, standard's in the middle. If you want specifics on how they actually break, I have a whole video, but for this video, just know that they break as you use them. New Horizons is the first game in Animal Crossing where more than just the axe breaks. In previous installments, we never had to worry about our other tools disappearing. You could just fish to your heart's content without needing to worry about whether you had 40 fishing poles stashed away in your pockets, ready to go. Axes broke in a similar fashion that they do now, but the past games were nice and gave us a visual indicator that kind of showed us how many whacks we had left before the tool exploded. We at least had a good idea if it was going to break soon. In New Horizons, unless you're keeping track and counting every instance you use a tool, you most likely have no idea how much longer the item will last, which forced many of us to carry multiples of each tool in our pocket. And you would think that the gold tools, that take a lot of tedious gameplay and expensive resources to craft, wouldn't break. But unfortunately, they do. Should this mechanic stay in the game? Should our tools always break? I'm honestly torn. I know the popular opinion is that the mechanic of tools breaking should go play in traffic. Having a tool break while you're busy playing or doing whatever task you have to do, it just adds an extra level of annoyance and tediousness. It really takes you out of the zone that you've put yourself in. Tool durability exists because of crafting. Making us craft tools, it just makes sense in the scope of the rest of New Horizons. We're on a deserted island. We really shouldn't have immediate, unlimited access to high-quality tools. But as our island grows, we find better resources, and then we can upgrade our crappy tools into better tools. I'm sure the devs are trying to just think of anything and everything that would make sense to craft, since the crafting mechanic is the main focus of New Horizons. But is it annoying that they break? Yeah, of course. It's annoying when the tools break in real life too. But this is a life sim, so does it make sense that the tools lose durability over time? 100%. Life sims are a tricky genre. You want mechanics to be realistic, but you also don't want to completely interrupt the player as they're going about their day. But maybe that's one of the reasons that they gave us huge pockets in this game. We can hold extra resources, tools, whatever we need. The 40 slots that we have now are such an improvement from the past, and I think we're really taking for granted this blessing. The devs used to only give us 16 slots. Now we start the game with more than that. We were always running around to empty our inventory. And ever since they added the storage shed, carry one around with you and you basically have 5,000 pocket slots now. You'll never have to interrupt your fishing trip again. I'm still a bit salty that the gold tools break. Unless you're using treasure islands, gold is pretty difficult to come by. Usually when you're playing games, you tend to have an overabundance of resources, but gold nuggets is just one of those resources I never have enough of. The more you play, the more chances you have for gold to pop out, sure, but there isn't some magical meta to get more gold. You're still relying on that 1% chance of a gold nugget popping out of a rock. Maybe you'll get lucky and get Gold Rock Island when Mystery Island hopping, but good luck. That takes a few hundred Nook Mile tickets to be able to find. Thanks RNG, you rock. What if the gold tools didn't break? We wouldn't need a crafting recipe for it, we'd just be given the gold tool like every other game. However, you'd be out of luck if you lost said tool. Right now, if you accidentally got rid of it, it's not the end of the world. You could just craft another. The ability to craft it does make it stupid-proof. It's me, I'm stupid. I don't pay attention at Nooks whenever I sell stuff. Besides giving us something else to craft and adding an extra step to our daily chores, I'm not too sure adding durability to all of the tools in New Horizons added any value to the game, besides just making sense with the story of a deserted island. If you were dropped off in a Survivor or an Alone-esque situation, you'd have to make your own tools too. Broken tools or even weapons in games tend to be an unpopular mechanic, but many times it's there to add some kind of balance or force you to explore in a game. Look at Breath of the Wild. People hated weapon durability in that game too, but it really did add a lot to your gameplay. You had to work your butt off to kill strong monsters, stock up on really good weapons, and fight your way to Ganon. Broken weapons added a new risk to your playthrough. It made you want to explore more to find the best weapon possible. The mechanic forced you to spend time in the world around you. I don't think New Horizons incorporates durability as well as a game like Breath of the Wild, and I think that's because there's no end to the game. In Zelda, you explore to find weapons, fight the boss, and then you stop playing. In New Horizons, you explore to find resources, craft the tools, use the tools, and repeat. There is no end. If we kept playing Breath of the Wild for 2,000 hours, we'd probably also have an abundance of weapons, which would make them breaking more of an inconvenience rather than a necessary part of your strategy. Can tool durability work in the Animal Crossing universe? I have no idea. I can't really think of a way for it to not be annoying. I personally don't mind the tools breaking, but I do see why people hate it. I like having a list of tasks to do, and adding craft a tool to that list just is satisfying to me for some reason. Unfortunately for the people that don't like it, I'm pretty sure the mechanic is probably going to return in the next game. Maybe they'll balance the durability of the tools a bit more, but it is synonymous with crafting, and I don't think crafting as a whole is going anywhere anytime soon. But who knows? Maybe Nintendo will think of a better way to implement these tools in the next game. I do like that the tool slot at Nook's Cranny is no longer useless, though. In previous games, after you obtained one of each tool, you never needed a tool ever again, unless you threw it out or sold it. This spot in the store is just useless after like your first week of playing. Now I go to the store all the time to buy new tools if I don't feel like crafting. Maybe this tool slot in the shop just shouldn't exist, and it's just up to us to not accidentally throw it away or sell it during our 3 a.m. play session. Maybe we should just go back to the axe breaking. But why was that the only tool that degraded before? What makes just the axe disappearing so much more palatable than the other tools? Most likely, it's lack of use. It was pretty rare to chop down a tree back in the day. There were no crafting resources, so you didn't need to chop them to get wood, and decorating outside, while was sort of a thing in past games, it was nothing compared to what we can now do in New Horizons. Because of this, axes breaking wasn't a big deal. What was a big deal though, was when your axe did break, and then you waited days for it to appear back in stock. Sometimes you had to go a while without the tool unless you were smart and grabbed them as they showed up in the store over time. At the end of the day, this is technically a life sim, and while there are a bunch of unlifelike mechanics like leaves turning into furniture and talking animals, things are supposed to be tedious. The tasks you decide to do for the day are supposed to take a while, but I'm also on board with the whole idea that too tedious does exist. There's gotta be a good middle ground. Maybe we can go back to just the axe breaking, or maybe Nintendo has thought of something that can work better. They do listen to us after all. Give me your tool breaking opinions. Love them, hate them, tell me. Don't forget to subscribe for Animal Crossing New Space content, and I'll see you next time. Bye!